Forecast. I'm Joseph, the host of the UFC Forecast, and we're back for UFC Nashville. These are the early predictions and betting breakdown. And once again, we're missing the co-host Lopes, but that doesn't matter. We got ourselves some pepperoni sticks, and we got ourselves some Miller Lite. Lopes' two favorite snacks, beer and pepperoni sticks. But first, let's go over a successful night at UFC 291 in Utah. I went 9 out of 11 on my picks. And for my bets, I'm up 30 units. And I could have been up plus 150 units if Alex Pereira would have got that knockout. He was one away from me. I also had Roman Kopylov by KO and Gabriel Bonfim. It was a treble bet, but Alex Pereira could not find that knockout shot in round 2. He had me on the edge of the seat, but he could not find it. And in round 3, he just stood there and looked at Jan Blachowicz. Ended up winning by split decision. He was one of 2 of my locks. He got taken down 3 times and controlled for 7 minutes. So Alex Pereira, split decision win, that's kind of questionable. And Dustin Poirier got head kick knocked out in the second round. And that's a coincidence. It's in Utah. Leon Edwards got the head kick. And so did Roman Kopylov, like I mentioned, on the prelims. Prelims were phenomenal. The only one I lost was Priscilla Cachoeira. And that was a women's fight. Only women's fight on the card. And I went with the 350 underdog, so no shame in that one whatsoever. We're not going to talk about UFC 291 too much. We're going to get right into UFC Nashville. But one thing to mention, Derek Lewis is back. So cheers to Derek Lewis. He won us a bunch of money too. We're up plus 10 units on Derek Lewis alone, plus maybe 15, something like that. So cheers, Derek Lewis. Thank you, buddy. Huge win for Derek Lewis. He really needed that one. And in our Discord, Dreadstocks, he's never lost, a dog of the week. So make sure you jump in Discord because you guys are going to want to know who Dreadstock's next dog of the week is. Last week he had Derek Lewis. He also had Saint Denis before. He had Alonzo Menifield. He also had Denise Gomes. Dreadstocks is really killing his dogs of the week. And Caesar in our Discord, he has great locks and dogs of the week. So Caesar and Dreadstocks, keep an eye on them in our Discord chat. It's absolutely free. I post my locks and dogs in Discord as well. And I also have Props of the Week channel going there too. I have 4 picks that are low confidence this week, so we're riding low confidence. We're not going to have too many bets for the Patreon members either. So if you want to support us, you want to join that to have early and exclusive access to all of our bets. It's only $5 a month. We really appreciate that support. So let's get right into UFC Nashville. Have another drink here because you guys know the liquid courage has been working for me. So let's keep it going. I might even bust out the Fireball. It's in the freezer waiting for Friday, but if I get really into these fights, I will break out that Fireball, have a couple shots here, so let's fucking go here. So first up, we're going to start it off with the prelims. Ode Osbourne fighting a prospect in Assu Almabaev from Kazakhstan, 17-0. He's relentless, really good grappler, and he has a couple finishes too. He's all around very good. And Ode Osbourne, he's been in the UFC for a bit now, and we know he can get the takedowns, but his gas tank's kind of questionable. He has a little bit of power in the hands, but in the UFC, he has a decision win over Charles Johnson, CJ Vergara, and his takedowns were only 1 for 7 and 3 out of 10. His strikes are only 89 out of 200 and 50 out of 157. He hasn't been very accurate, but he seems to be getting the job done in these close decisions. But in this fight, I don't think the judges are going to side with Ode Osbourne if it goes the distance. We just seen Azat Maxim beat Tyson Nam by a decision, and that was arguable. But I gotta go with the Kazakhstan prospect. I believe that's what the UFC is pushing here. They want him to get the job done. And he also has 1 knockout loss in the 3rd round to Tagir Ulanbekov in 2017. His other loss was a split decision loss. Like I said, this kid's relentless. He can get those slam takedowns. He should be able to tire out Ode Osbourne and possibly expose a lot of holes in his game, just like Brian Kelleher did. Tyson Nam also knocked out Ode Osbourne in the very first round. And Manel Kopp knocked him out in the first round. So Ode Osbourne has some holes in his game. I can't take him at 230, but I'm telling you right now, there is a couple underdogs that I am taking, and you guys are probably going to be a little bit surprised about them. And next up, we got another flyweight fight between Cody Durden and Jake Hadley. And this is a spot where I'm taking the underdog straight up. Cody Durden, he averages 5 takedowns. He's a very good wrestler, and he is very underrated for the flyweight division, but a lot of people I see are taking him this week as an underdog. I will be as well. He won his last 3 fights. Last 2 by a decision. Cody had 11 takedowns in a decision win over Charles Johnson last time around. Jake Hadley's only loss was to Alan Nascimento, where he was controlled for 9 minutes. I think it's going to be the same thing in this fight. Cody Durden's going to take him down and get the control time. But I'm not going to lie, Jake Hadley will be the better striker here. He rips shots to the body. He's a pretty technical striker, but he has a 37% takedown defense, and he likely can't keep this fight on the feet. And next up, we got one of my locks of the week, Jeremiah Wells versus Carlston Harris. I believe Jeremiah Wells is definitely a lock in this fight. He's going to be much better if it goes to the ground. His grappling is phenomenal. He's an absolute fucking powerhouse here. His last fight, he did get dropped 2 times, but he showed how durable he is. He showed he has a good chin and he's not going to quit. And he still got that done by split decision. Carlston Harris has 2 knockout losses, and I believe if Jeremiah Wells touches the chin of Carlston Harris, he's going to fold. And Jeremiah Wells could jump on the back, find a submission. He can find the finish by knockout or by submission. He has 5 knockouts, 4 submissions. Very well-rounded game for Jeremiah Wells, and he won his last 6 fights, 5 of them by finish, 2 of them in the very first round. He knocked out Court McGee clean with a punch, and he also submitted Blood Diamond, which Blood Diamond's not a big name or anything like that, not too credible, but still choked him the fuck out. And I believe Carlston Harris is going to be in some deep waters in this fight and likely get finished. And another thing to note on this fight too, because I see a lot of people saying Jeremiah Wells isn't a lock this week. Carlston Harris only knocked out Impa Saganai. You know, that's not a very fucking credible win. I don't think he can knock out Jeremiah Wells whatsoever. And if you look at his other knockout loss, it was to an 18-6 opponent. I truly believe Jeremiah Wells has what it takes to get this job done. And next up on the prelims, we got Kyler Phillips coming in as a favorite, 150 versus Raoni Barcelos, 262 now. A lot of people doubting Barcelos in this spot, but honestly, it's hard not to, man. Kyler Phillips is 8 years younger, and you usually have to go with the younger guy, the guy who's going to have the higher pressure, quicker, and the better all-around cardio. It's going to be Kyler Phillips, right? He's 4-1 in the UFC. He has decent footwork, great strike defense at 61%, a 5-inch reach advantage in this fight. All arrows are pointing to Kyler Phillips, and that's why he's a huge favorite here, no doubt about it. He's going to be the pick, but Raoni Barcelos is a very good grappler. He can get the control time and takedowns against Kyler Phillips, possibly expose him, but I just don't see it happening. Raoni is getting old, 36 years old. Had a tough time in his last couple fights, and I don't see him turning it around. I'm going to be fading Raoni Barcelos, that's for sure, and I hope you guys are too. And next up, we got the prelim headliner. It's my dog of the week. It's Damon Jackson, 250 against Billy Quarantillo. And this is one of the picks that you guys are going to question. I know it. I just know it right now. A lot of people might not think he's very good, but his only losses in the UFC come to Dan Iggy and Ilia Topuria, both by knockout. His chin isn't even that bad, man. Those guys just hit super fucking hard, and Billy Q would probably be knocked out by those guys as well, just like he got knocked out to Edson Barboza 3 months ago. That's a pretty quick turnaround as well. That's one of the reasons why Damon Jackson's going to be my dog. And he's 5-2 in the UFC. He has a big knockout win over Pat Sabatini. He submitted Camuella Kirk, Bektik, and he has decision wins over Dan Argueta and Charles Rosa. 40% striking accuracy. You know, not the best, but this guy's a fucking savage. And I think he could probably finish Billy Q. If he comes out here smart with the right game plan, I'm thinking he's going to get that submission. But you never know. He got the knockout against Pat Sabatini. As soon as the ref let them go, Damon storm surged them, just like we like to see. And he got it done. We know he has that dog in him. He's going to be my dog of the week. And don't forget to smash that like button and suplex the subscribe button. Once I hit 500 subscribers, I'll give away $500 in my Discord. I'll set up a giveaway bot, and one forecaster will win $500. Really appreciate that support. And if you want to support us and get early and exclusive access to all of our bets, join that Patreon. The link is in the bio below. And before we get into this main card, I'll go get the fireball. You guys go grab a beer, grab a pepperoni stick, because we're going to make some money on this main card. Main card's a little bit less dangerous than the prelims. And we're going to make some more money, obviously. Didn't take me long. We're ready to go. We're going to make it rain. Fucking money. And first up on the main card, we got Ignacio Bahamondes against Ludovit Klein. And this fight might be a little bit closer than the odds may say. But I'm going with Ignacio Bahamondes, the younger fighter. Bigger reach in this fight. And at range, he should be the better fighter, more technical. Pick apart Ludovit Klein at range. But in close, this is what's going to worry me. Ludovit Klein's going to have a lot of power. Can possibly get some takedowns. Hopefully Ignacio can keep this one on the feet. We haven't seen much of him yet. He's still a green prospect inside the UFC. And that is why I warn you guys not to put him in parlays. It's not worth it. It's really not. Let's take some notes on this fight. Let's see if Ignacio Bahamondes is a real deal or not. He's obviously going to be my pick. I believe he's going to be the better fighter, more technical. He's going to be calculated too with his strikes too. Ludovit Klein's a little bit wild in there. So I feel like Ludovit's just going to get outstruck in a decision here, but it could be very close. Ludovit's going to have some big moments, but I don't see him getting this one done. And next up, we got a Canadian, so let's crack the fireball. Fucking right, because we need them to win this week. We got Tanner Boser and Aleksa Camur. And we don't really need them to win, but we want them to win because they're fucking Canadian. But I'm not putting money on them just to be safe, because this is one of those fights that I don't want to bet on my biased opinion. And obviously the Bulldozer is the favorite here, but we're going to talk about the underdog here in a second. Oh, I'm not even a fireball guy. I got that because Clint McLean at Die Hard MMA, he likes fireball. I've been on the Pink Whitney. I thought I would change it up a bit. But fuck, I hate cinnamon, man. Fuck. Brutal. Brutal. Aleksa Camur, though, 5 years younger. So we're usually betting on the younger fighter here. And he just lost a split decision to Nikolai Ngannou. He's a pretty quick and technical fighter for the light heavyweight division, but he's been away for 2 years, coming off an injury, and his last 2 fights were by decision. His last knockout win was against Fabio Cherant. I believe that was on the Dana White Contender Series. Aleksa's still very green in his career. This is a fight where we need to take notes on him. He's only 6-2, 27 years old. He should probably have some more fights under his belt. But for the pick, I'm sticking with the Canadian Tanner Boser. How I think it's going to go down is Boser's going to come out here in the first round, charge him just like Derek Lewis did last week, find a big knockout shot, because his career must be on the line here. He just lost to fucking Ion Cutelaba by knockout. Everybody and their sister thought Tanner Boser was going to get the knockout in that one. So I'm probably going to get sucked into throwing another bet on him by knockout in this one. If it doesn't work out, I'm fucking done betting on Tanner Boser. And it's the same thing as Derek Lewis last week, because I said if Derek Lewis lost, I was done betting on Derek Lewis. And clearly Derek Lewis made us a fuck ton of money. But Derek Lewis was underdog. And the Bulldozer is sitting as the favorite right now. I definitely think this fight should be priced closer. I'll stick with it though. The Bulldozer's going to get it done by KO. Stay tuned till Friday though, because this pick can definitely change. This is one that we're going to have to wait till the weigh-ins, see how both fighters weigh in, see how they look, see how they face off, stuff like that. I'll have a better idea after the face-offs 100% on this fight. And next up, we got another Canadian against Diego Lopes. We got Gavin Tucker coming back after 2 years away. He's been training in Nova Scotia, not too far from us. And in this fight, he's just a slight underdog. Diego Lopes obviously showed his toughness and his durability against Movsar Evelev, but he got taken down quite easily, in my opinion, and controlled. He's just going to sit in his guard, try to pull some submissions, but Gavin Tucker should be the better submission artist in this fight and should be the better wrestler in this fight, and probably will have the better hands in this fight, because I was looking at his Instagram page. His hands are looking fucking sharp, and I'm not just being biased on this one. Gavin Tucker is putting in the work the last 2 years, and looking at the ages, this is one where we usually go with the younger fighter. It would be Diego Lopes, who's sitting as the slight favorite, but I gotta go with the slight underdog here. I believe Gavin Tucker's a much better fighter, and even though he's 9 years older, he has the better experience, and Diego Lopes' last 2 wins are to a 12-12 and 10-10 opponent. There's no fucking way he's winning this fight. I don't really care about his 6-inch reach advantage. I think his haircut's terrible, and I don't think he's UFC caliber. I really hope our Canadian gets it done here. One more shot of fireball and that's it, because this shit's disgusting. Fuck my life. Ugh. Fucking. Not for me. Not for me. I want some Pink Whitney. And next up, we got a very interesting fight between Justin Jacoby and Kennedy Nzechukwu. And this fight has red flags written all over it for Dustin Jacoby, in my opinion. He's coming off 2 losses, one to Khalil Roundtree, fucking horrible, and the other one to Azmat Mirzakhanov. He didn't get finished, but he definitely felt the power in that one. And not only does Kennedy have power, he's working on his grappling. It's looked phenomenal his last couple fights. He got his first ever submission win, and it was a very impressive guillotine choke. I think he could probably get another submission if he wanted to against Dustin Jacoby, because on the feet, Dustin Jacoby hits pretty hard. He's very technical. He was a kickboxer, so he's going to want to keep this one on the feet. and avoid all the danger of Kennedy if he can. But I honestly don't think he can, and I won't be picking him as an underdog this week. I know Jacoby has that big win over Jun by knockout, and Kennedy was knocked out to Jun, but you guys know MMA math never works out. And if it does work out, I'm going to be a little upset because that's the one reason why I would go with Dustin Jacoby in this fight. But I'm not gonna. I'm not going to do it. Not doing it. And next up, we got Jessica Andrade as a 4-1 underdog against Tatiana Suarez, 10-0, undefeated, probably the best wrestler in the division. Beat Aleksa Grasso and Carla Esparza, both by finish. This girl's probably going to be a champion very soon, and Jessica Andrade is getting fed to the wolves. This is a very cut and dry prediction. Andrade is going to get finished. She got finished against Yan Shannon by knockout, clean shot. And before that, she got submitted to Erin Blanchfield. And I know she's losing to high-level competition, girls that are going to probably make a title run as well, but they're just feeding her to the wolves here. I'm telling you, it's like Tatiana Suarez is so dominant on the ground. She's going to take her down and sink in a deep choke. No way Jessica Andrade is going to get out of that. She's going to tap again. There's no way I'm even thinking about the $4 underdog Jessica Andrade. Even though I'm usually all over the Brazilian women's underdogs, there's no way I'm looking towards Jessica Andrade in this matchup. Straight up, Suarez has this one in the bag. And next up, this is my last lock of the week. Going with 2 locks. Once again, first up was Jeremiah Wells. This one's going to be Cory Sandhagen sitting at 133 against Rob Font. And first off, I know we said we were going to do over 140 locks, but Lopes not here anymore. He's a special guest. My locks of the week are going to be 130 and above. Cory Sandhagen's going to dominate Rob Font. He has that win against Marlon Vera in the last one, and Rob Font lost to Marlon Vera. Rob Font also lost to Sun Sao, and Jose Aldo got submitted to Pedro Munoz. But Rob Font also has some decent wins. He has a couple decision wins. Cody Garbrandt, Ricky Simone, Sergio Pettis. Those were a little bit more aged. Most recently, he knocked out Adrian Yanez in the very first round. His hands look phenomenal. And Rob Font always has a slick jab, man. He fights off that jab. He has quick hands. He's pretty accurate as well. But Cory Sandhagen's going to be the much more technical fighter, and he has a variety of weapons to use too as well. And don't get surprised if Cory wants to take this fight to the ground. Make Rob Font think about those takedowns. Maybe get some control time on Rob Font. Cory Sandhagen all around is going to be the much better fighter here. And the Sandman's one of those guys that's going to be deserving of a title shot one of these days. He's so close, man. He's 9-3 in the UFC. He's came up just so close against Peter Yan and TJ Dillashaw. But in this fight here, he was training for Umar Nurmagomedov. So he was training for a much harder opponent than Rob Font. And he's also 5 years younger than Rob Font. He should dominate this fight. And if you want access to the big bet that I'm going to put down on Cory Sandhagen, you got to get in that Patreon. It's only $5 a month, exclusive and early access to all of our bets. We also have a Platinum Picks, Forecast Forensic. Sometimes we have a DraftKings lineup as well. Hope to see you guys on Patreon. And you can also join Discord for absolutely free to get access to my locks, dogs, and props of the week. We also are going to do a giveaway at 500 subscribers. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking the video. And I would love to see everybody in the comment section below. Discord is definitely the place to be for absolutely free. I hope to see all the new forecasters there this week. Cheers, everybody, and we'll be back on Friday.